Down the backstretch, getting ready for the green flag. The Barley's Automark pace truck lights are out. And again, all eyes will be focused on that zero machine, Chris Dodson. Everybody's going to be chasing him tonight. 100 laps in this race. We'll see what Chris Dodson and the rest of the field can do as we get ready to go to green flag racing here at Southside. Whoa, spin out right there in turn one. Batching up the front end, Lynn O'Neill's machine. Sonny Allen's car waiting straight down on the rim. And caution flag is on the track. Like Sonny Allen's car just got dropped right there as they went into turn one. Lynn O'Neill got the end of that car and spun out heading into turn 1 and 2 and got the front end of that car right up there with the top of the wall. All right, the lights are out in the Barley's Automark pace truck. Chris Dodson, Greg Fernandez will lead them down. Let's see if we can get lap 1 in the books here as they come around. Jimmy Walker's got the green flag in hand, and it flies. Here we go. Greg Fernandez trying to beat Chris Dodson at the drag race, and Dodson, though, he's going to be on the low side. He will grab the lead. And here comes Eddie Johnson right there to try to sneak underneath Greg Fernandez heading into turn 4. Dodson, your leader, side by side for second. Here comes Eddie Johnson trying to get by Greg Fernandez. That's a battle for the second position. Fernandez on the high side, Eddie Johnson on the low side of the track, heading into turn number 4. Greg Fernandez got a strong horse tonight. That 02 car looking pretty stout in the opening stages of this race. He moves into second. Eddie Johnson falls back to third. They know this is a 100-lap main event. 100 laps in this race. They've got to take care of their stuff throughout this entire race. They want to make it to the end. Eddie Johnson will just lay back for a little while, kind of see what shakes out with that 02 car of Greg Fernandez. Meanwhile, Chris Dodson holds the top spot. Fernandez in second, Eddie Johnson in third, Timmy Langford in fourth, and Raymond Pittman in the 5th position. Sonny Allen in the 20 machine, slow. He is off the pace. He's on the low side of the track. Will be heading into the pits. And it looks like something more of an issue with that 20 car of Sonny Allen as his crew is ready for him when he comes in. Get the car looked at and see what's going on with that ride. Chris Dodson opening up about a 2-car length lead right now over Greg Fernandez in second. Then you got Eddie Johnson in third, Timmy Langford in fourth, Raymond Pittman in the 5th position, Racing Jason Pittman in 6th, Dusty Ellington in 7th, and Lynn O'Neill is up to 8th. And again, Sonny Allen has pulled that car into his stall, and it looks like that might be the end of the night for the 20 car of Sonny Allen. Ten laps are in the books, and it's still Chris Dodson with Greg Fernandez in second, Eddie Johnson in third, Timmy Langford in fourth, Raymond Pittman running in the 5th position. The battle on the track is for 6. Dusty Ellington and Racing Jason Pittman side by side heading into turn 1 as Dusty Ellington trying to clear Jason Pittman. He does so, move him into 6th position with Pittman in 7th. Here comes Lynn O'Neill trying to put Pittman back there in the 8th position. 20 laps are in the books here at Southside. Chris Dotson still holding that top position, 80 more to go. Again, Dotson, your top man, with Greg Fernandez having a great opening stage run here in that 02 machine. He's up to second, and you got Eddie Johnson, the veteran, back there in the third spot in the 43 machine. Timmy Langford in the 39 car running the fourth spot with Raymond Pittman in fifth. Then about a straightaway back in the sixth position is Dusty Ellington with the one car of Lynn O'Neill in seventh, and racing Jason Pittman rounding out the field. Only car off the track right now is the 20 of Sonny Allen, and his car looks like be out of the race for the evening. Best battle on the track right now is for the sixth position. Dusty Ellington, Lynn O'Neill have been going at it back and forth for the last few laps. Lynn O'Neill trying to go to the high side of the track to pass Ellington. Ellington's able to kind of keep him at bay. Again, Lynn O'Neill is doing everything he can to get by the 14 car, right all over the back bumper, and he gives him a little nudge right there, lets him know he's there, and Lynn O'Neill kind of gives him a little bump, and he will move into the sixth position. Dusty Ellington, though, right there at his tire tracks. Laps in the book to Southside, and lap traffic will start to become a factor here in just a little bit. Chris Dotson is really just starting to close the gap. He's already on about the same straightaway as Jason Pittman, and Pittman is the last car on the lead lap. Dotson in first place. He's got about 4 car lengths over Greg Fernandez in second, and Eddie Johnson back in third with Timmy Langford in fourth, and Raymond Pittman rounding out the top 5. And then about a straightaway and a half behind in the sixth position is the Lynn O'Neill machine with Dusty Ellington in seventh and racing Jason Pittman in the eighth position. In fact, Chris Dotson really starting to close the gap on Pittman and that lead car here. Again, it's not a matter of if it'll happen, it's more along the lines of when it'll happen. It should happen here in the next few laps or so. '51 car of Jason Pittman is in the pits to the attention of his crew. He pulls off the track as the crew looks over the '51 machine of Jason Pittman, making sure his car is up to snuff. He takes a little bit off the front end, a little tape off the front of that car, and he'll go back into the track as we are 37 laps into this race. Chris Dodson just putting a lap on Dusty Ellington as he is really motoring around Southside Speedway right now, making it his own. 42 laps are in the books as we approach the halfway mark in just a few laps, as Dodson is just making it his own tonight here at Southside, putting a lap on Dusty Ellington. Greg Fernandez, the 02 car, having a great run tonight in that second position, and Eddie Johnson back there in third, with Timmy Langford in fourth, and then Raymond Pittman in the fifth position. But again, Chris Dodson is the man right now at Southside. Jason Pittman in the 51 car is slow back onto pit road as he goes again. And this is the second time he's been on pit road in the last 5 laps. So not looking too good for the 51 machine of Jason Pittman, as he's going to come down, and it looks like he's going to make that hard left turn into his pit stall. And it looks like it might be the end of the night for Jason Pittman. Meanwhile, back on the track, Chris Dodson opening up some daylight between himself and Greg Fernandez, as the next car that Chris will be looking to lap is the one of Lynn O'Neill, as we are just a couple laps away from that halfway point. Dusty Ellington really making it hard for Greg Fernandez and the third and fourth place guys to try to get by, and that's putting a lot of distance between himself and the leader, Chris Dodson. "50 laps in the books here at Southside. Chris Dodson is your leader, has been since the drop of the green flag, has not been contested. The 02 of Greg Fernandez back in second, and you got the 43 of Eddie Johnson in third, Timmy Langford in the fourth position, Raymond Pittman in fifth, Dusty Ellington in sixth, Lynn O'Neill in seventh, and the only cars that are off the track right now are the 20 of Sonny Allen, who went out first, and then the 51 of Jason Pittman is the most recent person to fall out of the race. Dodson, your leader. Eddie Johnson, your new second place guy, got by Greg Fernandez a couple laps to go, and he is moving into second with Greg Fernandez in third. Back and forth, it's the 39 of Timmy Langford and the 50 of Raymond Pittman is the top in your top 5. Eddie Johnson, known to take care of his stuff in a race and really hold back and really wait, hopefully, to about the end of the race to really let go of everything. He knows that 100 laps is 100 laps. You got to be able to hold on to your stuff. Does Eddie Johnson have something for Chris Dodson? That's the question right now, as Eddie Johnson trying to close the gap a little bit here on Chris Dodson. It looks like, from a eyeball standpoint, it looks like that Eddie Johnson is closing it just a little bit, not much, but we've got 40 laps left in this race. He still has some time to kind of chip away at his lead. Langford spins out right here on the front stretch. Caution flag is out on the track. Again, battling for position there. And the 39 car of Timmy Langford spins out. And that is bringing out the second caution of this race. 61 laps in this race. I think everybody was kind of looking forward to slowing it down just a little bit, maybe even the drivers. I don't think Chris Dotson wanted to see that, though, because he had a good, comfortable lead. Some good stuff, so check it out. Southside Speedway on Facebook, the official Southside Speedway page. And if you are wanting to monitor the lap times here at Southside, don't worry about it. Download the Race Monitor app on your smartphone. Go to your app store on your smartphone. There is a charge for it. And download the Race Monitor app, and you'll be able to get the times right here live from the track at Southside. Getting ready to go back to green flag race, and Chris Dotson has been leading since the drop of the green flag. And now his biggest competitor, Eddie Johnson, sits alongside of him as the green flag comes out. We'll see if Eddie's got something for him as the green flag is out. Dotson pulls it right there in front of Eddie Johnson. That 43 machine is 0 and 43. How many times have we said that over the years? Dotson versus Johnson coming down into turn 4. Chris Dotson and Eddie Johnson, that's your top two cars. Back to third, it's Greg Fernandez in the 02 machine battling with the 50 of Raymond Pittman. That's a side-by-side battle for the third spot heading into turn 4. Chris Dotson, though, he's got his rear view mirror full of Eddie Johnson in that 43 car. Greg Fernandez has got his hands full. Raymond Pittman's on his high side. Right behind him, is that 39 machine of Timmy Langford. After spinning out, he's back there in the 5th position, waiting to see what these two cars in front of him are going to do. Fernandez and Pittman, door handle to door handle down the backstretch. Drag race going into turn 3. Looks like Pittman's got a bumper out in front of him. Heading into turn 4, Pittman will take third this lap. Battle is not over with yet as Greg Fernandez still on the low side of the racetrack of the 02 machine, trying to get past Raymond Pittman on the high side into turn number 4. Pittman still running that high line as Fernandez runs the low line, and he moves into the 3rd position, tries to clear him this time, and he does so. Meanwhile, while all this action is going on behind the leaders, looking at the leaders right now, there's going to be a little bit of daylight between Dotson and Johnson, but not much. Maybe squeeze another car in between those two cars, but that's about it. .30 laps left in this race, and Chris Dotson trying to shake Eddie Johnson off his back bumper. About a car length separating the top two cars. Meanwhile, it's about a straightaway back to 3rd place Greg Fernandez as Raymond Pittman and Timmy Langford back there 4th and 5th. Lynn O'Neill in 6th with Dusty Ellington in the 7th position. Amy Phillip, you need to come to the beer stand, please. Amy Phillip to the beer stand, please. Amy Phillip to the beer stand. Amy Phillip to the beer stand. All right, the lead battle is starting to heat up a little bit here. Chris Dotson still holding that top position, but Eddie Johnson is all over the back bumper of that 0 car. About a straightaway back in third, it's Greg Fernandez. Eddie Johnson's going to try to take a peek underneath Dotson. This time as it coming to turn 4, Eddie Johnson's going to try to take a peek and see if he can do something with Chris Dotson. Won't do it this time. He's right there on the side of Chris Dotson as they head down the backstretch. Here comes a 43, going to try to make it for the lead. This time, it's a side-by-side battle for the lead. Heading down the front stretch into turn 1. Eddie Johnson trying to get past Chris Dotson for the lead as they head into turn 2. How many times over the years have we said Dotson versus Johnson? It's going on one more time. Another chapter in the book here at Southside as Chris Dotson on the high side, Eddie Johnson on the low side for the lead here at Southside with 19 laps to go. Johnson right there on the back on the high side, or Dotson on the high side, Johnson on the low side, door handle to door handle drag race heading into turn 1. Neither driver letting up as they head down the backstretch. It's again side by side heading into turn 3. Chris Dotson slips just a little bit and Eddie Johnson's able to get past Dotson for the lead. Heading into 17 laps to go. Earlier in the night, we said that Eddie Johnson likes to know, he knows how to save his stuff for the end of the race. 100 laps is 100 laps. You got to save your stuff for the end of the race. Eddie Johnson's a master at it, and he did it tonight. He was able to sit back there, not battle too hard for third and fourth position, and he has something left in the tank towards the end. 16 laps to go here at Southside. 15 laps to go as they cross the line. Fourteen laps are left in this race, and you got to ask yourself this question. Now that Eddie Johnson's passed Chris Dotson, is Chris Dotson just holding back for the final few laps? Does Eddie Johnson still have enough to hold that lead as we've got 13 laps left in this race, or does Dotson have something left in that tank for Eddie Johnson heading into the final stages of this one? You cars, you get to your car. You cars, you get into your cars. It's about that time. You cars, to your cars, please. You cars, to your cars, please. Ten laps left in this race. Eddie Johnson's put about 2 car lengths against him, and Chris Dotson starting to put a little cushion between himself and second place. Hoping there's not another caution around the corner. Got a spin out in turn 3. That's Timmy Langford. Caution flag is on the track, and he slips down right in front of the leaders as we are 9 laps left in this race, and Eddie Johnson did not want to see that come out. He had about a 2.5, 3 car length lead over second place Chris Dotson. All right, getting ready to get the one to go here and getting ready for probably an amazing restart here. We'll see what happens. Amy Phillip, come to the beer stand, please. Amy Phillip, you need to come to the beer stand, please. Amy Phillip, you need to come to the beer stand, and no, you don't get a free beer. Amy Phillip to the beer stand. All right, Eddie Johnson and Chris Dotson once again side by side with 9 laps to go, heading down to the green flag. We'll see what happens here as the green flag is out. Chris Dotson slipped to the high side of the track. Eddie Johnson's able to jump right in front of him. We'll see if Chris Dotson can do something here in the final stages of this race. Eddie Johnson, your leader. Chris Dotson looking down the low side, trying to get by Dotson, and he gives him a little bump. He gives him a little bump, but Johnson's able to hold the top position. Dotson's in second. Whoa, Fernandez, Greg Fernandez, and Raymond Pittman spin out, and Pittman flips over on his hood. Caution flag is on the track. Greg Fernandez and Raymond Pittman were heading into turn 3, both spinning right there, crashing into each other. Raymond Pittman spins out, flips over. Caution flag and red flag are out on the track. If you are not an official, please stay off the track. If you are not an official, please stay off the track. Just an oil fire, ladies and gentlemen, just an oil fire. Everybody is okay. We've gotten reports from down the track. Everybody is okay. Got the 50 of Raymond Pittman. His car is off the track. Good news is it looks like everybody is okay from that scary incident heading into turn 3 between Greg Fernandez and Raymond Pittman. Tires are cold. They're trying to heat those tires up here as they get ready to go back to green flag racing, as we got 8 more laps left in this race. Eddie Johnson, still your leader. Chris Dotson still has a shot to make it 2 wins in a row here at Southside. And Timmy Langford in third. Greg Fernandez, who was involved in that major incident, looks more like a modified right now, with Lynn O'Neill and Dusty Ellington rounding out your top. Since the Byerly's Automart pace truck is in the pits, we got bets on to see how long that magnet will stay on that truck, going more than like 2 more laps. And here they come down the front stretch. Green flag is out. Eddie Johnson laid off just a little bit. Chris Dotson, though, was able to keep up with him, and they're side by side going down. Eddie Johnson's a little off heading into turn 3. Chris Dotson trying to grab the lead here in the final few laps. He does so heading into turn 1, but Eddie Johnson's not letting him slip up. Eddie Johnson still on the bottom side of Chris Dotson as they go into turn number 3. Eddie Johnson still right there with Chris Dotson heading into turn 4. This time, Chris Dotson gets by Eddie Johnson, but now Eddie Johnson's trying to move underneath Chris Dotson. The drivers were side by side for several laps earlier in this race before Eddie Johnson was able to squeeze by him. It could happen here in the final stages. Eddie Johnson still right underneath the door panel of Chris Dotson going into turn number 2. Johnson on the low side, Chris Dotson on the high side heading into turn number 4 as we have got 4 more laps left in this race. Race fans, you've hung around for a good one as they're side by side heading down the backstretch. Door handle to door handle. They are so close right now heading into turn 3. Eddie Johnson trying to get the lead down the front stretch. Johnson led that lap. Dotson, though, is on the high side. It's still anybody's race here as they go into turn number 3. Dotson is on the high side in the 0 car. Johnson, the 43, on the low side. Heading into turn 4. We've got 2 more laps left. Johnson and Dotson still side by side. Johnson gets a little bit sideways heading into turn 2. Here they come down the front stretch. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go here at Southside. It's all down to this, folks. Johnson pushes Dotson up just a little bit. Dotson goes back to second. Eddie Johnson is in the lead coming into turn number 4. Chris Dotson's in second. Eddie Johnson gets the win. Chris Dotson comes home second. Timmy Langford finishing third. An amazing race here at Southside. And there he is. Eddie Johnson is out of the car and your winner. Eddie, come on over here real quick, buddy. Getting hugs from all the family members and the crew members. Eddie, right over here, man. Taking a look at that front end of that car. Got the orange hats on tonight. Eddie, that was one of the most amazing races I think anybody out here has seen in a long time. You and Chris Dotson, the veterans. First off, the first stage of the race, it looked like you were saving some for the car for the remainder of the race. But talk about that race right there towards the mid stage with you and Dotson.
Well, Chris Dotson's car has really been fast this year, and we've been working on the car trying to get it better. But I mean, his car has been really good, and we were able to get up there, and his car is faster on the get-go than mine, but the longer we run, it looked like mine got a little bit better. His got a little bit looser. But when the cautions came out, I knew this Pearson Dodge was going to have a hard time. But Chris we both got up there, we both raced, we both rubbed, and I mean, I had a lot of fun. It was great. He did an awesome job. We did an awesome job. We were just lucky to come out a little bit ahead. But I want to thank all the guys on the crew, Protect Fab, Pearson, all the group for sponsoring the car. Thank Torp Racing for their chassis, Performance Counts for their motors, Barbara, Julia, and Bobby Hughes, and my wife and all my family for supporting me and coming out and watching me run.
Those last few laps of that race, I mean, talk us through those. Those had to have been, you said it was a fun race, but those last few laps right there with you and Dotson all over the racetrack, that had to have been a great one for you.
I tried to change the way I started the race and kind of messed up with the last restart. But like I said, I knew Chris was going to be fast at the start, and I just had to hang in there, and finally we were able to get a little bit of a bite and just try and go as fast as I could without spinning the tires, and it all worked out.
43 cars in victory lane. Eddie Johnson put that race on a rank of scale right there. Of many races you've been out here at Southside, where does that race and that finish rank up there with you?
Well, I tell you, that's one of them barn burners, nail biters, and that's right up there at the top in the top five. We put on a really good race. There are a lot of cars out here we've been having, but his car is good, and my car was good tonight, and we just put on a whale of a race and just enjoyed the race with him and had a good time.
All right, well, Sarah, Ashley over there, she's got your trophy. Add that to the collection. Eddie Johnson takes home the checkered flag and the trophy here at Southside